All right, guys. Jeff Barnes here. Bruise, Bohurt, Badassery. Um, anyway, Bruise, Barbells, Bohurt, Bad. Well, see, we're still not figuring this out, but it's supposed to be Bruise, Barbells, Bohurt, and Badassery. Well, anyway, it's our next weekly installment of just me talking to you. Hopefully, in the near future, we're going to have some interviews that we're going to be doing and other content we're going to be adding. But we got to get started somewhere, right? So, this week's a little bit shorter, I think. It's just going to cover some of the basics. It's a topic that's really important, but you're going to first think of why are you talking about this? And we're going to talk about the importance of sleep and how it's going to impact you as an athlete, and how it's going to impact you for our sport of Bohurt. So, before we get there, let's go ahead and knock out some announcements. So, some upcoming things: the ACL had their Battle of the Roses this past weekend. It looked like a huge success. Lots of good fighting, and some great events. From the videos I've seen so far, looks like a top-notch event. Good job, guys, and congratulations to those who got a gold medal. Yeah, well, anybody medaled, actually. Congratulations. It's really cool to see the West Coast really kind of picking up, and we're hoping, in the Midwest we're struggling to grow, but it's getting there. And with everyone's support and everybody's watching these videos, hopefully I can bring more people into the sport and talk about fighting. So then we have Riddle of Steel coming up in January. Now, Riddle of Steel is an event that is an EMP event, which is a little bit different than everything else, but it is going to be where the national qualifier is for all of our duels for H&B. So if you're interested in going and committed to going to Rome this next year, then you need to be at this event if you're going to want to fight in the duels. And the duels are sword and shield, sword and buckler, pole arm, and longsword. And so they're the best fighters are going to be there. If you can commit, definitely be there and show up. If each of those events have 8 fighters deep, then the winner of that event gets a free ticket to Rome. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, especially if you're in the sport. And we're always fighting to try to make enough money to cover equipment and everything else. It'd be really nice to have a free ticket, that covers our bill. So I'll be competing at least in the pole arm category and probably sword and shield. So not that sword and shield is my favorite, but I have been making some progress in there, and since I'm going to be there anyway, I'm going to make everyone fight for it. So I'm pretty excited. Then in February, Iron Phoenix puts on their winter camp. It hasn't been officially announced the date, but we know it's coming next February, March, or probably more February, into February time period. I had a couple friends who go last year, and they couldn't talk highly enough about it. I mean, it was a great event. Lots of training, good information all the way around. So obviously, for if you're looking for a training camp, which is not something we have very often in this sport, putting together a training camp where you can go and attend. There's events from, I think, starts Thursday and goes through the weekend. Definitely seems to be like it's going to be worth it, and that's something that I'm committing to go. And then also in February, there's going to be the site is yet to be determined. I know that they're working with trying to find the best site, but it's going to be it's going to be East Coast tournament for HMB, which is the last 5-man team selection. So the winner, the 5-man team who wins this, is the third team that's going to be selected for the 3 teams we get to take to Rome. And then it's also a 21-man team tryout. So if you're not on a good team or can't assemble a good team that is fully committed to go to Rome, we do need 21-man fighters. There's some talk about how we're going to organize and how we're going to fight in groups, and so there's a lot of discussion around that going on. So if you are interested and fighting on the 21-man team. I understand it is it is a selection process. It's not just because you're willing and able to buy a ticket and go over is not going to be the reason why you get selected. That's been and what we're looking for. What the Avaloc, our team captain, is looking for is he's looking for skills and ability. I might even not make the cut. I'm doing everything I can to train for it, but understand it should be a selection. It is a selection process. So we're looking for 28 men to cover that 21-man team. Obviously, we get alternates. That allow us to field a full team, and our goal is to do really well this year. Last year we didn't, and we want to redeem ourselves. And so this year, I've been totally committed to training and going forward. Success, I keep losing weight. By end of January, I'll be at my second goal weight, and I'm going to do a big body fat percentage calculation, and based upon that, I will determine whether I need to continue to do a calorie restricted diet, or I will do a maintenance diet and then start putting on some strength back. Not that I've lost a lot of strength, but I think with my mobility, just my mobility and power that I've been able to accomplish with and the weight that I've lost, I've been able to move more weight more quickly and with more power. Now it's time to kind of build the strength up, as long as I keep my power and mobility all kind of in sync. So I've got some planning for that, also including 2-a-days. So my 2-a-day training program will start in January. Don't want to start too early because I want to be able. It's going to be intensive, and so I really wanted to make sure that I'm scaling it up to the time that I need to be ready to compete, and kind of get 6-week roughly training camp before the East Coast selection tournament, and just to make sure I'm ready and in best shape as I possibly can without being injured, because that's the other side of things is when you're really trying to do heavy weights and power through things, you can tear things, and that's something I need to be definitely careful of, because I do like to go to the max with my weights, and there's that balance. And so I'll be working that balance and playing it safe and going from there. So all that aside, let's talk about sleep. Yeah, sleep. First and foremost, sleep, everyone does it mostly. There's a lot of people who don't get enough sleep. Matter of fact, there's studies out there that most people do not sleep enough. There's some of you guys out there who just get the 8 to 10 hours of sleep that you absolutely need, and it's fantastic. Good on you. But as an athlete, sleep greatly improves your performance. And I watched a great video, and I can't take any of the credit for the information I want to share. This is all non my information, but I'm just going to reiterate what I've seen is Stan Efferding did. If you don't know Stan Efferding, just Google him. He's a phenomenal. He's IFBB pro bodybuilder and strong, and he's also a powerlifting athlete. Really knows his stuff. He is the personal trainer for Hafthor, the mountain from Game of Thrones. So when Hafthor was training for and trying to get ready to compete for World's Strongest Man, you notice that he got second place this year, but Eddie Hall got first. He got second, beating out Brian Shaw, who's been a 4-time World's Strongest Man. I always thought Brian Shaw was definitely gonna be 1, and then Eddie Hall 4, 5, and then have and then Hawthorne's always been in the top 3 to 4. He's placed a lot of times, but we didn't expect such a good show. And I think that if he continues on, he's going to, next year, well, Eddie Hall's out for sure. So it's just going to be a battle between Brian Shaw and Hafthor for World's Strongest Man, which I think is going to be phenomenal. There's some other new athletes coming in that are just extremely strong, and you can't rule out Big Z. He's not so big anymore. He's dropped a lot of weight, but he looks really strong, really lean, and look to see big things. He's also a four-time World's Strongest Man competitor. Maybe it's five, but I think it's him and Brian Shaw are both tied. Could be wrong, but they're pretty close. But Zydrunas Savickas is an amazing athlete, and he's been in it for the sport for a long time. He's about my age and still competing strong, so it's amazing to see. Stan Efferding did this video, and with Mark Smilley-Bell, the Powercast, Super Training Gym, if you follow any of those YouTube channels. And the first part of the video talked about, first of all, getting a blood test, seeing which deficiencies are, and then address those. Like for a guy like me, I'm because of me, who I am, my genetics, I need vitamin D. So I'm always on a vitamin D supplement. I have to have it because it helps with all kinds of things with your body. But I was lacking it, and so that's one of the things that I have to take in order to make my levels right, so that I'm performing at peak optimal performance. And outside of addressing like hormones and dietary nutritional needs, the most important thing before even going to the gym is sleeping. And that's what he said. And I was like, really? I mean, sleeping is that important? So I took it for a test. And what I did was I actually forced myself to get at minimum 8 hours of sleep every night. Forcing myself going to bed early, changing my nighttime routines so that I am in bed, I am getting the rest I need, and I'm able to get up and able-bodied to perform for the next day. And here's my results. Of course, this is subjective. This is what I feel. There's I don't have any measures from pre sleeping 8 hours lift versus a post sleeping 8 hours lift. I will say that today was a very brutal workout that I did today, and I smashed it. I had to. There's a couple, exercises I can't do just because of my size. Like handstand push-ups for reps. That's just not going to happen just yet. I'm working towards it. I'm getting close to getting one knocked out, but it's just so instead you do, you augment the exercise a little bit and just you do a different workout, which is I was doing push-ups, but to say what I'm trying to say is that my energy was consistent, and I had energy through the entire workout. I wasn't bent over, grabbing my shorts, trying to take big, deep breaths and try to recover. Was I sweating my butt off? Hey, absolutely. Was I breathing hard? Absolutely. But I had energy through the entire day. Also found that by getting a full night's sleep, I hurt less in the mornings. Now, not that I have, now that I've got some of my issues addressed, I don't really wake up really sore. But there's been times where, I'm nursing an elbow injury and then a shoulder injury. Getting more rest, I'm waking up with a lot less pain. I'm waking up feeling better, more energized, and and it's really helping me do the thing that I've been wanting to do, which is get up, feel good, not having to drink 5 pots of coffee to get your day started. I get a cup of coffee and I'm good, and I'm ready to kick off the rest of the day. So going back and talking about sleep, there are some interesting studies, and the studies talk about they had athletes do submaximal lifts and before and after getting X amount of hours of sleep, and the results were actually very significant. That the difference of if you were sleep deprived, so they took a group that had all the same, about roughly the same weight, same strength, and split them. One group they all did their pre test lifts, and then One group got sleep deprived, like they were making sure that they weren't getting a full night's rest and waking them up. The second was they were giving a full night's rest, and the results were quite dramatic. Is that sleep does greatly impact performance, and so this is kind of like, yeah, no duh kind of situation, but when you're coming into as an athlete, right? This is going back to my previous posts or previous videos, is that we're athletes, right? We're not just doing this for fun. Yes, it's a sport, but I mean, we're competing in a sport and at a national and international and local levels, and to take ourselves seriously and to take the sport seriously and to make sure that you're safe on the field, being able to breathe, being able to compete at the peak optimal performance, sleep is probably one of the most important things you can do. So, of course, there's getting the proper nutrition, sleep, and then eating correctly. Nutrition is making sure you have like vitamin D and supplements, but sleep being such a huge important. It's one thing that you can do and you can change in your regimen this week that will greatly improve the rest of the things. Like people who are stalling with weight loss because of whatever reason. If you sleep more, you'll actually help yourself lose weight. If you if you're struggling with sleep and not getting good night's rest, if you're snoring, get that checked out. I mean, I myself, I use a CPAP machine. You'll see pictures of me every once in a while. In like early in the morning, I'll have a line here on my face or over here on my face, and that's where the CPAP nose pillows sit. But I don't really care. I wake up in the morning and I feel fantastic. I'm one of those rare cases of one, the way my nasal cavities are built and my mouth is built, I'm just naturally going to have sleep apnea. Whether I was, not a big fat guy, right? And I was just a small lean guy, I would still have sleep apnea or partial sleep apnea because of the way this is all built. So it's not a fact, if you're snoring and if you're having problems with sleep, it's not a fact of just being overweight. Anybody, small, skinny people can have sleep apnea. It's something that getting a sleep study is something really simple. Your insurance will normally cover it. Something that I highly suggest you do. It'll help you. It'll help you tremendously. The things I got from my CPAP machine was I wake up. I've got more oxygen in my system. I wake up better. I feel better. All those things that are important for you. Specifically. Other things about sleep that I would recommend is that get that 8 hours of sleep. One, the doctors recommend it anyway, 6 to 8, right? But it also, what it does is it programs you to a schedule, right? If you're going to get up and work out first thing in the morning, you've got to schedule yourself. You're putting a priority on your health. Sleep and having a scheduled sleep pattern reiterates that whole process. It makes you and forces you to, okay, I'm going to have to go to bed at this time so I get enough rest so that I can get up and get out the door and hit the gym on time with energy. Because that was a thing that I found when I got up in the morning was I was tired and I didn't want to work out. I'd rather crawl back in bed. It's cold outside. It's in the 30s right now. Why would I want to go and trudge out to the car and warm up the car and then drive 15 minutes to the gym and then go work out for an hour and then come back out and face the cold again, where I could just sit at home and drink coffee and watch television until I have to be at work. It's a hard choice. You got to be able to push yourself. So that it is, putting your health as a priority is going to make you a better athlete. So in this segment, I really want to talk about, we'll talk about other other things that you can do to really help you perform better as an athlete. But this topic is really kind of focused on sleep and how important sleep is for you. The takeaways are simply as this. One, if you're not getting 8 hours of sleep a night, try it for a week. Force yourself, put yourself in a situation where you're getting at least 8 hours of sleep. Change your schedule a bit. You know, there's so many documented benefits for getting proper rest, so that your body recovers, so it can heal itself, so that you can perform better. That's the last point. I wanted to talk about with sleeping is, during your sleep, your body, your metabolism is working, your body is your body's is repairing all the crap that you've done to it. I worked out heavy this morning. I'm going to sleep tonight. That's where my gains are made. My body's recovering itself. It's rebuilding itself. It's doing all those things that it needs to do in order to prepare myself for the next day. And that is why we train to get stronger, faster, and all those kind of things. And if you're not getting proper rest, you're not giving yourself enough time in order to get that rest and to get that recovery, and to get, you'll miss out on all your gains. People time and time again who struggle with sleep, who also struggle with either maintaining weight, they struggle with maintaining performance, they struggle with hitting new PRs, and it's something that just as simple as going to bed and making sure you're getting enough rest to do that. For myself, I'm noticing that, like I said, waking up with less pain. My elbow issues are a lot less severe anymore, and it was exponentially better after getting 2 nights in a row of sleep. My elbows start feeling really a lot better, and that's after, on the second day, I got up and was doing 225 pound deadlifts for did like 45, 50 reps altogether, through like 12 minutes. It was just pounding him out, and I mean, that's a lot of pressure, especially when you're talking about this area right here, your elbow, where tendon's at. Being able to keep the strength and be able to not walk away with a lot of pain was huge. Those are the things that I'm seeing. You can see the results from others from getting enough sleep. Obviously for yourself, you can do, it's just as simple as doing that programming, schedule yourself to sleep. Now, some of those who have to work through the night, you have factors working. Your circadian rhythm is getting messed with, so that's working against you. So you really can't fix that by when you work overnight. However, you can still benefit from getting enough rest and getting that rest to help you benefit your lifts. So all that to say is, sleep is very, very important. Sleep will help you perform better as an athlete. And the better athlete you are, the better you're going to be in the list. So this is Jeff Barnes for Bruised Barbells Badassery in Bohurt. We'll figure it out the name sometime soon. And wish you all the best. See you in the list.
Well, we're going to go to chest to chest with I am. Yes. And then you're there, and then you're there. Yeah. That works. Because you'll wrap your arms around up front of me, and I'll be like this here. And you're like, oh, what do I do? Start pushing yourself up. Zip. That elbow will move off. Not stuck there.